Hello and welcome to Kiev. Today I'm going to try to answer the question of why the Ukrainian military has not attempted to destroy the bridge over the Kerch Strait. Now, the bridge is positioned between Crimea, which is temporarily occupied by Russia. I say temporarily, I hope it is temporarily and not permanently, and the Taman Peninsula, which is on the eastern side. Now, the first bridge that was actually built there was done by the German occupiers. It wasn't a bridge as such, it was a ropeway, and that went up in the spring of 1943. Quite an engineering achievement. At the same time, the Germans also sought to build a bridge across the strait, but that didn't get very far, and when they pulled out of the Taman Peninsula, the initial works were destroyed. There were a number of attempts to find between the governments of Ukraine and Russia to try and find an agreement to actually build a bridge here, but they all came to naught for one reason or another. Now, the day following the occupation, or the referendum, I should say, the alleged referendum, for which no doubt the results were decided well in advance, Putin announced that a bridge would be built across the strait, and that was actually done. The contract for the bridge went to Arkady Rotenberg, who coincidentally, I'm sure it's completely coincidental, has known Putin since he was 12 years old. In fact, he and his brother Boris met Putin at a Sambo club. Sambo is a form of Russian judo, and they've been mates ever since. But I'm sure he got this because of his engineering ability. So anyway, the bridge itself cost approximately 2.4 billion euros, approximately, because it's hard to say using the exchange rates. Now, to give an example of another bridge, one which I know quite well, as I sort of spend a lot of time in Sicily, is the proposed bridge between Calabria and Sicily. The estimates for the cost of that are between 4.9 and 6.4 billion euros. The bridge to Sicily is somewhat cheaper. The reason I bring this subject up, though, is because the costs are also inflated, no doubt because of money that has to be paid to gentlemen that work in certain areas of public construction. Anyway, so in one case it's corrupt, in the other case it's organised crime, or the other case, or maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, so the bridge was built because the ferry traffic between across the Kerch Peninsula could not cope with the demands of Crimea. Obviously, after the occupation of Crimea, the road links were completely cut off. Even today, I imagine that the bridge, just one roadway, and its position is not particularly convenient for transport reasons. This has been said to have been one reason for the war we have at present. There is now the land bridge across from Russia through the Donbass and through the Kherson Oblast to Crimea. So the advantage of knocking out the bridge in the current circumstances is not all that great. I would have said that this indeed doesn't have a great deal of sense. Now, the first thing is I would always ask, and I've said to everybody who's brought this up, is how do you intend to actually knock the bridge out? Using what? A commando raid? Or what? Or bomb it? More the point is, okay, cruise missiles. That's the logical way of doing it. I think that cruise missiles, which Ukraine possesses, do have the potential range, but it's going to be at the very extreme end of their range, and they're going to have to fly over Crimea, which means that they're highly likely to be shot down or brought down. Anyway, I note that of the missiles which are fired into Ukraine at present from Russia, then many of them are actually knocked out. So it would take it could take a number of missiles. Now you may say, well, a missile which costs between 1.5 and 10 million euros, and it knocks out a bridge costing 2.5 billion euros, is surely a good value for money. Well, maybe it would be if that were correct, but it's only likely to cause damage which could be relatively quickly repaired. Maybe not during the duration of the war, but it would be repaired. I witnessed here a bridge which was knocked out, and yet an alternative road was, and it looked brand new. It wasn't, must have been brand new, built around it in no doubt in a couple of weeks or something like that. I don't know. So I don't think that there's a huge amount of benefit, but there's also a benefit from leaving it up. And I know this sounds illogical, but it's this, is that Russia needs to maintain the anti-missile defenses to protect the bridge, and if that bridge were brought down, those assets would be moved somewhere else, and that is a very important thing to consider. That bridge for Russia represents a status symbol, as was the flagship Moskva. It's not something it can afford to lose. Bear in mind, with Putin, it's all show. It's not about what he the facts are on the ground. It's what he needs to portray. Therefore, that bridge cannot be lost as far as they are concerned. I imagine there's a huge amount of weaponry around it designed just to stop this sort of thing. A friend of mine said on Facebook, wouldn't be a great thing for the 9th of May victory parade if the bridge were brought down? Yes, it would have been, but to be quite honest, I just can't see how it would be achieved. Anyway, that's my opinion. However, there could be people who have other opinions, so write down your other opinions below, and if you've got any ideas how this could be done in another way, which of course would be something which would be long lasting, because if you damage something and the effort to cause the damage is greater than the effort to repair it, then it's not very effective. Okay, as you can see, I'm in a rather noisy Kiev at the moment. I'm bang in the center of the city right here, and just before I finish, I'll show you around. And the camera hasn't turned around. Do you know why the camera hasn't turned around? So this is where I'm staying at present. There we go. There's Kiev. There's the Bessarabian market down there. Something I very much appreciate. This old market building here, it dates to the beginning of the 20th century. And that's what's making the noise outside. So, it's a great view though. In conclusion, I would just like to state this, and this is quite important. Because of the videos I did on the Ukrainian Foreign Legion, a number of people have actually turned up here. I wouldn't say because of my videos, but because I've actually assisted people because of the videos. If anybody is thinking of coming here for any reason related to giving military assistance, contact me first, because they're not taking anybody. They're very fussy about who comes. If you contact me, it could save you a lot of money and time, because there are people I see spending a fortune getting here and getting kit, and then they're getting refused. So bear that one in mind. Thanks very much for watching. All the best from me. I'm doing other videos related to this conflict from here, from Ukraine. So if you are interested, then subscribe.